Do you remember the movie Poltergeist? Do you remember how scary it was? And the catchphrase from the movie, "They're here." The little girl staring into the TV screen. We all have a poltergeist that can sabotage our work. Today, I want to talk about setting priorities with your poltergeists and determining ways that you can banish them forever. Hi, I'm Dr. B, the Creativity Sensei. I coach creatives from around the world to focus on making their art and elevating their mood. And today I want to talk about poltergeists. Recently, I have been doing a meditation practice with a fellow on Insight Timer. I will include his name, but I believe it's Justin Michael Williams. He's a musician and motivational speaker and has a unique way of teaching meditation. I'm currently on day 10 of a 40-day course, and I have learned so much. This morning, it was about learning what your saboteurs are, learning what those time sinks are that get in your way. He talked about a young person who wanted to play the guitar. That was clearly one of their goals, and yet they said they didn't have time. He reviewed with this young person what they do throughout the day, and pretty quickly came upon a huge time sink where the young person would spend what they reported as 2 to 3 hours every evening watching Netflix or YouTube or some other video streaming service. And he, Justin, surmised that very likely it wasn't just 2 to 3 hours. It might in fact be 4 to 5 hours. If he, the young person, could devote just maybe 30 minutes a day to learning how to play the guitar, just think how much they could do in a week, in a month, in a year, progressing slowly but surely toward their goal. And I thought about what I do during my day. I'm a teacher. I'm a full-time, part-time professor. Currently this semester I'm teaching 11 courses. 5 of them are college writing courses. Well, no, 7 are college writing courses, and the other 4 have a writing component mixed in, as well as teaching some history and culture. My days are kind of full. Mondays are the most jam-packed. I begin at 8 a.m. and my last class ends at 6:15. But the other days become progressively lighter as I move through the week. And my Friday, I only have one class that starts at 5. That means that throughout the week, there are pockets of time where I can work on things like this YouTube channel and developing materials to share with my students and my clients, because ultimately my goal is to inspire you to do your art. That is my art form. As I was working through this meditation with my online guru, I realized that my biggest poltergeist is perfectionism. Right? Maybe you also share this. Perfectionism lies in our need and desire to do it right. whatever the it is, we want our products to be perfect. That's probably one of the reasons why I disappeared from making my YouTube videos from basically, was it May, until just a couple days ago. A poltergeist is thought of as a spirit that has nasty intentions for you. It can sneak up at any time, and it wants to sabotage whatever it is that you are doing, that you want to do. It is a mean-spirited ghost-like creature. At least that's what it is in German folklore. Psychologists also believe that poltergeists can, in fact, reside and emerge from our own emotions, maybe based on some childhood trauma, maybe based on something more recent. Making the connection between the cause and later the trigger gives you the ammunition to put your poltergeist to rest now, once and for all. Thinking about what my own poltergeist therefore is in terms of perfectionism, how can I combat that? Well, one thing, I am trying to record, produce, upload, and share a new video every day for the month of October, each one with kind of a spooky theme, because I thought it would be fun to couch what I normally do and what I profess in terms of creativity, and my three pillars being motivation, modification, and manifestation, because I know that these three foundations are key to helping creatives get their work out into the world, whether that is for sale or a gift or simply for the joy of doing art. Studies have proven that the act of art making elevates our mood, and I'll do a future video where I go much more in depth on the scientific studies about that. For my Poltergeist of Perfectionism, I want to pinpoint 3 areas where I can begin to put this poltergeist, this nasty, spooky entity to rest. And one thing would be to accept my failures. All too often, I tend to let failures, even small failures, derail me. I have often spoken about this, and it's in my book, about a friend who offered to coach me in pursuing my own goals. She wanted to develop a business, a coaching business, and I wanted to work on getting my novel published. And we met every Sunday morning at a coffee shop. Every week she would give me a little assignment. The week after I would return and debrief her on my success in doing these things. But one day, instead of coming back with my progress and seeking an agent or a publisher or another revision on the novel, that week I had this vision to start a business. I called it To This Day with a number 2, and the whole purpose was to coach other creatives to help them realize their goals. I had created a website. I had 10 pages on that website. I had a list of topics. I wanted to have a daily email that I called the kick in the seat of the pants. Just 1 or 2 lines delivered to a creative's inbox every single day to try to motivate artists and makers to do their art. I was so excited about this, and I presented it to my friend, and she looked at it and shook her head, and I had even printed out a mock-up business card and stationery. She shook her head and she said, "You're beyond help. You're beyond help." Can you imagine any coach saying such devastating words to a client? I certainly cannot. But the words, I'm sure, came out of her mouth without her even realizing it, because she had one goal for me and I had another, and those two things did not align. But in terms of my goal towards perfectionism, that was what I saw as a big failure. I took her words to heart for many, many years. I put that business aside. I never pursued it. I let the website expire. I still have one of the business cards, but yeah, it didn't happen. Although years later, I rekindled the idea, and I have been coaching clients, and I have been inspiring others to do their art. Another thing that can get in the way when you are a perfectionist is understanding what is perfect. Certainly, we go to movies, we read books, we hear music that isn't perfect, that has flaws, that might be getting there, approaches, but who is perfect after all? Nobody. Perhaps only God is perfect. As the Amish do in much of their quilts and their handicraft work, they will include one little mistake on purpose. In quilting, it's called the humble square. Knowing that perfection is an ideal and that it isn't something that you should let limit yourself, that can be another thing to try to tackle and put aside. And a third thing in terms of perfectionism is knowing that life and your art and your journey is a continuum. I fear if I ever reach that perfect work, if I ever finish the perfect novel or paint the perfect painting, that I won't be able to surpass that. And then what? In terms of perfectionism as my poltergeist, I plan to acknowledge this beast, but I will not let it dominate me. I will not allow the perfectionism graphic designer in me to fidget with a flyer or an icon for something like an event or a concert. Those little things that can fritter away the minutes and the hours and take you off of your course. What is your poltergeist? What demon do you need to slay to free up the time for you to pursue your art? Drop a comment below. Let me know. Let our community know what you're working on, and what has worked for you. As makers and creatives and artists, we can definitely support each other in this journey. I would love to work with you. If you want to seek more help, you can schedule an appointment on my website, doyourart.org. You can also download many resources there, and you can sign my mailing list, which I have kind of ignored for the past 3 or 4 weeks. Again, perfectionism. So I vow to you, and I will say to my poltergeist of perfectionism, you do not rule me anymore. I am powerful. I am in control. I banish you from standing in the corner of my room telling me I am not good enough. Until next time, a biento.